In 1997, King of the Hill premiered on United States television and lasted for a total of 13 seasons with 259 episodes in 2010. During that time, the series proved to be a surprise hit with viewers, with very high ratings throughout the entire broadcasting era of the cartoon, and had a number of characters that viewers of all backgrounds and circumstances that they could relate with. One of the focal points of character interaction and development focused on Hank Hill's connection and relationship with his father, Cotton Hill. The father-son relationship was often something of contention, as the character of Cotton Hill often bragged and exaggerated about the many things that he had done during his life, and the fact that he was not exactly on good terms with Hank. In the Season 6 final, Returning Japanese Parts 1 and 2 introduces the character Junichiro Hill, as the episodes explain that during Cotton Hill's time during the Second World War, he loses his shins during combat and has an illegitimate child with a Japanese nurse, Michiko, during his rehabilitation in Japan shortly after the conclusion of the war. Much like the humor of King of the Hill, Junichiro is exactly like Hank, but with a Japanese or Asian interpretation. As Hank was a seller of propane and propane accessories, much like in Texas where the series takes place, Junichiro was a seller of robots and robotic parts, much like Tokyo. The two-part episode was actually well written and considered by critics and viewers to be a good addition to the series, as such circumstances did occur between United States soldiers and Japanese women in Okinawa once the war was over. As Junichiro commented that at first he was ashamed of being biracial Japanese and wished that he had never been born many times in his life, and hated Cotton Hill for the harsh life that his mother had to endure, being that of a single mother in post-Second World War Japan. Cotton is angered by this and had a plan to spit in the face of the Japanese emperor when he, as a war veteran among others, were arranged to meet him. Hank and Junichiro agreed to work together because, as a robotic businessman would actually suffer if Cotton were to in fact spit in the face of the emperor, because the meeting would be publicized and learn that the both of them have a lot in common. And when Junichiro later apologizes to Cotton Hill, he doesn't spit in the Japanese emperor's face when meeting him, but introduces both of his sons instead. Cotton says goodbye to Michiro and Junichiro and leaves Japan with Hank and returns to Texas. This was the only real portrayal of Junichiro Hill in the entire series, as the character had a minor non-speaking appearance for chronological continuity's sake in the Season 11, Episode 12, Lucky's Wedding Suit. Internet speculation had it that the character of Junichiro would have been hard to depict in King of the Hill, so that it was the most likely reason why the character was never referred to again and barely depicted. The character of G.H. Hill also made Junichiro Hill more obsolete as well, due to Hank having a younger brother by Cotton Hill having a child with his younger wife. So the reference to Junichiro, or even having the character in official continuity, is even more frustrating or not needed for viewers. The concept of Junichiro Hill is sometimes considered a plot mechanism for the interaction and character death or relationship between Cotton and Hank. Sometimes a character can be forgotten because they were meant to develop the relationship of other characters.